Hello, and welcome to Be Here Now, where presence invites perspective and allows peace. We are coming to you live on the newstreamingnetwork.com. There we go. WGSN-DB, Going Solo Network Radio, TV, and podcast. Today's topic for Janice and I are, who holds the keys to your happiness? Great question. I am your co-host, Judy Forder, and I am here with my co-host in peace, Miss
Janice Leonard. Hi, everybody. It's Janice and Judy. We're here again this week, every week, to talk to you about our experiences, some tools we use, people who have different tools to share with us, and to help you, hopefully, to find moments of peace and happiness and self-love, acceptance, all that stuff, and to be here now. Yay. Oh, actually, that's when I should do the hand. Well, whatever. Oh, if they have the da. Okay, let me just see the. No, that didn't work. Anyways, we are part of a 5. Yeah, that's right. That would work for this weekend. We are part of a 501c3 organization, which means your donations are tax deductible. Any donations you're able to make, you can go anyway to our website, which is peacefulempowermentworks.org. And there we have a donation button at the top and at the bottom. You can also access all our shows. If there's a on the ribbon on the top, you can click on shows. We have all our shows, and you have access to watch any or all. Let's face it, I'm sure you want to watch all of the shows. And watch. We've had quite a journey. I mean, it's been over 2 years now, and we're just talking about that, and we've come a long way.
We really have.
And pick which message maybe you need to hear, and if you want to. Anyways, thank you for being here, and we hope you enjoy the show and maybe get a little ounce of inspiration somehow.
That's beautiful. Janice, what's a free way for people to support us?
Oh, thank you. I did this last time too. Donations are great, but I'm not able to. I know I'm not able to donate. One way I wish I could. So if you're like me, just watching, is supporting us, like, subscribe, share, whatever it is. We're so happy to have you here. Comment any way you can be.
Right on. All right, Janice, would you like to ring us in or ding in? We're still dinging.
Yeah, I'm still dinging. I see the doctor Friday. Maybe I can get the splint off, but I don't think I can lift my arm yet.
Okay.
So ding it is. Ding
Everybody,
dong.
breath in through your nose, out through your mouth. All right. So today's topic, who holds the keys to your happiness? During the pre-show meeting, Janice and I were talking about a lot of different things, and she's had a wonderful weekend that she's going to share with us about. And, last week's show kept popping in my head because there is some more celebration that needs to be done. I know for me, years ago, when asked this question, I would have answered it very differently than how I answer it today, because, my whole position before I started this journey was, if somebody were to say, who holds the keys to your happiness, I would think immediately money, because struggling with money and, this person and my principal's a real idiot, and I can't believe some of the people I work with, and there would have been a whole long list of finger pointing. Mm. And now it is abundantly clear to me that I hold the keys to my happiness.
Mm-hmm. My happiness was dependent on how my job was going, how my kids were doing, how my husband was treating me, or my perception of how my husband was treating me.
Yes.
Yeah.
Beautiful. I love the way you said perception. Yes, because it's all about how we're viewing it. I could feel that My principal was a complete idiot when I didn't know all the things that my principal had to do and had to account for, and had, we don't know. So thank you for making an extra point about the perception, because
Yeah.
that's really important. That is super important.
Yeah.
How things. So, we're going to talk about today, we're going to talk about personal responsibility. We're going to talk about your mindset, and we're going to talk about emotional independence. And Janice and I were laughing because all of these things Janice exercised this past weekend, and she exercised them beautifully. So I'll set you up and then you can start talking. Janice and her grandson took a trip to Boston. And as you know, Janice is still nursing recovery. Her arm is broken. So, and Janice, you can't tell because we're on screen, but Janice is 5 foot tall. That's it. So in a crowd, she's easily lost.
I tell
and
you,
the reason she took her grandson to Boston was for a basketball game. So an NBA basketball game, you guys can picture how crowded that was.
yeah, it was fun. It's funny. One thing you said to me before the show, I have to hold on to. I have to hold on, well, to share, because it explains the celebration and it explains the growth.
Mm-hmm.
Is you said to me, how would you have gone? What would have happened on this vacation a few years ago?
Mm-hmm.
I probably would have hid out in where we were staying, because my grandson ended up being very sick. My arm, lots of pain. I was in a different environment where I didn't have things all set up to be easy for me to function. I didn't have my husband helping me function. And it would have been really hard. And I probably would have done that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, to tell you my story, what happened, it's just, you've got to think that first, because I forgot that. And you reminded me.
Yeah.
Now, this time, it was one of my challenges, is the whole, what are you going to do when you retire? Who am I? What do I want to do? Who do I want to be? I didn't know. I don't know. But I did say, yes, there was one thing I wanted, is I wanted to travel. So this was a kind of a big deal. This is a Christmas present to my grandson. We went to see the Celtics play in Boston.
At the Garden.
At the Garden. And it was interesting, just a little side, and I'm not even ADHD, but I do this all the time. My brother Peter, when I was telling him I was going, he's 13 years older than me, so he's like 75. He says, when I went to St. Patrick's, we went to school up to 8th grade. He said, I was in a basketball tournament down there. So growing up in New Hampshire, back then, the big only place where you could have big games was you went to Boston. That was the place. So my brother played in that garden. I have a feeling it's a little different. Yeah. But that was so. Yeah, I did think of that when I was there too, and it was just okay. So I want to do this. And you know what? I can do this. I can do this. This is what I want. This is not. Normally, I'm traveling. Oh no, I gotta bring what I'm gonna do, and I gotta have my electronics, because I'm gonna have to be safe and be able to shut down. And it's interesting. I mean, that's what it would be. And how can I be safe? Okay, so I really didn't feel that way this time, and I was thinking, this is what I want. This is my retirement gift to myself. I want to be able to do this, right? And I drove down. Big fear of mine, huge fear of mine, is to never drive in Boston. Boston, when you grow up, I'm just going to say, when you grow up north of Boston, you think Boston's terrible. You hate Boston drivers because they're so aggressive, because you have to be so aggressive, because the roads are like, they're just crazy. And that's what I grew up thinking, is never drive to Boston. That's like the worst thing. Well, I said, I can do it. I was like, well, maybe we could take there's a train. There is a train that goes from Vermont somewhere, but it doesn't go to Boston. It goes to Washington, D.C. and New York. No. Okay, there's a bus. Oh, God, bus. Then you're tied to a time to leave, a time to go, and then that's stress. No, I'm going to drive. And I did. I drove with one arm because I had to take the sling off. The doctor said, yes, you can drive. You take off the splint, whatever you call that. And you still can't use your arm. you know? So I was like, Cole, you have to buckle me in when I get in. You have to, just help me shift the gears. That's all. But,
Right.
you can't do it yourself. I could have gotten worked up about that. I can't, but I didn't. I didn't.
Nope.
We went down there. I drove, and we didn't end up going in the city to get there because we ended up staying in the Charleston Marina, which is the Boston Marina. I mean, it's the same thing. Boston Harbor is part of that.
On
And
a houseboat.
what?
You stayed on a houseboat.
And I stayed on a houseboat.
Experience.
I was like, oh gosh, it's gonna be so expensive to stay in a hotel. Maybe we'll do a Verbo. Maybe we can find something for Verbo or. And they had a houseboat that was less expensive than a hotel. A houseboat. And it was because of a very secure area, come to find out, and huge yachts, and I can't imagine. This is not anything I've seen before. and I was saying, just wow, I did it. I did that part was for me, like I planned it, and I did plan what we were doing minute by minute. My grandson was sick. He was sick the week before. We thought he had COVID because I had COVID the week before that, and he did visit me one day, and so we thought it was that. And he was sick, okay, so he couldn't help me so much. He was sick, and he even his emotionally, people are sick, you're not like as nice. And, let me help you, ma mère. I am a ma mère, by the way, because we're French. Let me help you. And, he did try, but he was sick.
Right.
And, we did it a few years ago, that would have been it. Let's just stay in the boat. We're going to stay here, and, we'll go out to the game. How we're going to get to the game, I don't know. First day, what we did, it looked like we could walk there. So we walked there the first day. It was over a mile, but we walked. We ended up walking by. The SS Constitution, USS Constitution, where that was boated. We didn't go in because he didn't want history things. So it's hard not to do history things in Boston or museums. No museums. Okay, and there's another boat there that I didn't get to stop and read what it was, but it was pretty cool. And we went by the Freedom Trail, I think, and we walked and we went to the TD Garden. I was hurting, honestly. I realized that since this shoulder surgery and this break in the shoulder, the ball got crushed. I've just been sitting and trying to get it to repair, not doing much. I was sore. I was hurting, but I was like, no, I'm going to do this. I want to be able to walk there. Yeah, we did. And then we got to TD Garden. So now I knew where it was, and I knew we could walk there. And, and I did it, and we took an Uber right back right away. Quick hole. That's it. We got to go. I'm hurting. But I didn't judge myself. It's just, oh my gosh. It was, like Judy said, how was your vacation? Well, the night of the game, my grandson was so sick, I thought I was going to have to bring him to the emergency room. He made it to the game. He was sick. We ended up standing in the rain, waiting for an Uber in the drizzle rain. It was cold. We got back. His face was red and blotchy. He was shivering. He looked terrible. And I was throwing up. It's just, that was that bad. This is how bad. And he fell asleep. So I was like, okay, we'll have to go first thing the next morning, which is when we were planning to leave anyway. And having the car driven down, we could leave whenever we wanted.
Yep.
So I got hold of his mother, and it's like, he is very sick, so was it terrible? No, I still, that was terrible. That moment was terrible when he said, oh, I can't, in case any of your friends watch, but, I ended up having to sit with him, and just rub his back, and he was so sick. That was terrible. I'm not taking away from that.
Right.
But the experience was great. TD Garden, I don't know if anyone listening to this has ever been to a NBA game. Never been. Huge. Tons of people. Tons. I can't imagine. And we had this thing, so I researched it a bit to see if anything else was going on that I could bring Cole to. The only thing that's going on is the first 5,000 people were going to get a bobblehead. Okay. Doors open at 6:30. The game starts at 8. I'm like, that's an hour and a half sitting there. I couldn't imagine. What are you going to do there? So Cole, of course, wanted to leave early. So even earlier, I should say. So we get there like 5:15. It was 6:15. The doors weren't open yet. There's a line. There's a line. This is huge building, right? The line goes all the way around to the back of the building and doubles up and starts coming back again. It was crazy. I'm like, what the heck? I said, why are there so many people here? Is it always like this? I asked the woman in front of me. She says, oh, no, it's the bobblehead night.
Mm-hmm.
Bobblehead.
It's the free bobblehead.
The free bobblehead night. I'm like, oh, well, I want a bobblehead.
All
And
of a
you know,
sudden, had to have one.
then you start thinking, and I'm like, it's such consumerism, though. You know, I'm like, why would I care about a bobblehead of a basketball player? I'm not, into this. But supply and demand. There's 5,000. Only 5,000 can get it. Only the first 5,000 can get it, and it's free. I just, and I'm not judging myself, which is amazing because I want to say that's terrible. I want a freaking bobblehead, And we go in, and I'm thinking this is way more. We're way more than 5,000 in line. I have no concept of what 5,000 is, mind you, but and we go in. Oh, shoulder to shoulder. And remember, I'm 5 feet tall. That's why Cole's over 6 foot. My grandson's over 6 foot. So he wants to go his own way and do his own thing. And so I'm kind of like trying to follow him, and it was crazy. And then there's the place where the bobbleheads were being given away. There were still bobbleheads left. Cole just reaches over. Oh, yeah, hey, grabs one. I'm like, what? How am I going to get a bobblehead? So, I have to go like this to people. And I went like this. And there's only one person kind of in front of me. So I said to him, have one. And I got my bobblehead. This is Paul Pierce, who's a retired Celtics player. Bobblehead. Yeah, there you go. What am I going to do with it now? I have no idea.
It's going to remind you of your amazing trip.
Yeah. So, I just learned how rigid I was. Things like he was, a secure area. We had to have this special fob for security. And I was like, oh, I got to hold on to it. Cole's kind of all over the place. And I forget and lose things. Oh, I got to hold on to it. And I was like, Cole wanted to hold it. I was like, no, I'm holding this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, oh my gosh, Janice, come on. What's this about? And I was like, oh my gosh, this is my need to control it because I'm always afraid of losing things. Hey, Cole, I gave up the fob.
Mm-hmm.
I gave up the fob. Doesn't sound like much, maybe. But it's that kind of thing that happened to me is I noticed I was very rigid, set in my ways. I got into the houseboat and I wanted to have my spot. I needed that spot. This is my spot,
Right.
I kind of let go of it. I mean, I did sat down and it wasn't like my spot though. Yeah. But when you sit in the house and you don't go out and you don't do things, you do get set in your ways and you do, this is my spot. And,
Yep.
and never mind the whole arm thing because it hurt and I didn't have the help and it could have ruined my whole trip. It would have been an excuse between Cole being sick and my arm to just shut down.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to adapt. And I even was cold. It was cold. And when we went for the game, I took the pillow off because this thing is a big, big, huge thing. And it's hard to get around. And I had to wear my winter coat that I brought. And I said, I can't wear that over this. And I can't put it outside of that. And that'd be stupid. And so I took the pillow part off. It's a big pillow that holds my arm out. And it worked. And I fit in the coat still. And we went but then I couldn't. I can get away with doing some stuff, but then it's under my coat. It doesn't matter. I did it. I mean, that's the whole point. I did it. I learned how kind of stuck in my ways I was getting. I learned about my grandson more, even though he was sick. I got to be with him, and I wasn't like stressed out. And when I did have my moments, I was able to stop and say, "Whoa, this is weird. What are you doing?" Anyway, so I've probably gone on enough about that. It was a great experience for me. It was great. My poor grandson. And then he says, oh, why does this have to happen to me? It was terrible. I was like, it was just terrible. There wasn't anything, he wasn't as sick at the beginning. There wasn't anything. He's, well, yeah. And I was thinking, I probably would say this was bad a few years ago again. I would have, it doesn't matter. The whole thing was great. We went to, one quick thing is, so we need to do something different. So we went to the aquarium, and we went to this tour at night. It was ghosts and gravestones. And we got brought into some cemeteries and told ghost stories, and the the people talking were dressed up with makeup, scary makeup. It was great experience, and that's it. I did it. I'm
You,
different. And then Judy says to me, "Well, what you've done a few years ago."
Mhm.
Wow.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Yeah.
It can happen.
Yep. And one of the biggest things Janice said to me is, I didn't judge myself.
Yeah.
I didn't judge myself. I noticed things. I asked myself questions. I was able to change my behavior, and I didn't judge it. And if anybody out there knew Janice 4 years ago when I met Janice, nobody judged her harsher than she judged herself. So it was absolutely beautiful for her
Mm.
for
It
me
was
to hear that.
it was so freeing. It was so freeing.
You allowed the experience. You said you stopped thinking of things as good or bad and just allowed the
Yeah.
experience to be.
Yeah. It's like a gray. I can live in the gray, and when you live in the gray, you don't judge yourself as much. You don't judge others as much. Not that I never really judged people, but I was like, oh, that's bad. You shouldn't do that kind of. I was kind of prude. I'll just say prudish. You need to do this and do that. We got to follow the rules. But
Exactly. Exactly. All
yeah.
right. It's a great place for us to take a quick commercial break, and we will be right back.
Yes. Thank you.
Welcome back to Be Here Now, where presence invites perspective and allows peace. Our topic for today is who holds the keys to your happiness. So, we were celebrating Janice because she got a living example. The timing, I tell you, the divine is amazing. We have our celebration show. Janice experiences last weekend, and now she has all of these things to celebrate. Perfect. And it aligns perfectly with who holds the keys to your happiness. Janice obviously holds the keys to hers because of how she approached it. And the first, taking personal responsibility. Huge. It's not anybody else's job on this planet to make me happy or to make Janice happy other than us.
And I know, and too, just with my husband is, we're kind of close, even though we don't do much together. We have very separate lives, but yeah, we're at the end of the day, we got to have each other. And I in previous times, I would be missing him and feeling bad.
Mm-hmm.
And I told him before I left, I said, I want to enjoy this, and I don't want to feel bad. So I miss you, but I'm not going to think about this. I'm thinking about going. And
Mm-hmm.
that worked too. I mean, I missed him. I missed him because he wasn't there to help. I mean, I missed him because I love him. I don't just his helping, but I appreciated him so much because I would never have to
Yes.
worry about putting my shirt on, because it's hard to get this arm in.
Mm-hmm.
They'd be there to help me, but I had to do it myself, and boy, it hurt. But yeah, I love my husband. I appreciate him so much.
Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. So yeah, happiness is a choice, and it's a choice we make every day. And there's a lot of terrible things going on in the world. We're not blind to that. It's not that Janice and I aren't aware of what's happening. We totally understand that it's a freaking shit show out there. We can't control that. We can't control that. So, we're not delusional. We're not airheads that don't know what's really happening. We just understand fully that we can't control what's falling apart out there. But what we can do is bring more light and love to the world. And how do we do that? By finding it within ourselves first. Because if we don't find it within us, how the hell are we going to shine it out there? So happiness is a conscious choice that you make every single day. Janice could very well look at her retired. I mean, since you've been retired, you've had shoulder surgery and you broke your other arm. You could look at retirement as a complete disaster shit show. But look at how much you've learned. Look at what you've experienced. Excellent. It's all in how you approach it. And
it absolutely, it doesn't mean we don't have moments of, oh, I'm so freaking sick of this. Or this is terrible. Look at it. Oh, I can't, oh no, I can't look.
uh-huh.
I got that. Got those moments. It's
Oh,
not, so
absolutely.
it's not black and white. It's all
No.
in the gray. It's where you go in the gray.
Absolutely. Yes. You know, we've been at this doing the show for 2 years. I've been doing some type of a show since 2017, you know, getting word out there, doing our own work. And believe you me, there have been plenty of times, hell, just in the past 6 months. I'm like, what's the fucking point of all this? This world is a freaking disaster. What's the fucking point of working so hard? So, yes, there are definitely moments where you just lose your shit because it's hard. It's hard to continue choosing happiness when so much is crumbling around you. But that's how we can serve right now. That's a very clear understanding that I have. That's how we serve. While everything else is falling apart there, we're focused on what comes next. And what comes next is we want to build this foundation of love, joy, happiness, truth, integrity. And in order to do that, we have to have that in our own lives first. And happiness is a huge part. Happiness is a higher vibration. Happiness is an emotion that can help lead to joy. Joy is a state of being. You know, 10 years ago, if I'd have had that experience that Janice had, I'd have been like, well, you're sick. We have to stay in to make sure we get to the game on Sunday because that's the whole reason we're here. We got to focus on getting you better. And that would have been my excuse because all of my fears of being out in the big crowds and doing this and traveling alone. And, I would have just been like, oh, yeah, this is the perfect excuse for us not to do anything but go to that damn game.
And that could have been scary. But
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
but
So it's a mindset. You know, Janice, saying what you said to your husband was beautiful. I'm going to miss you, but I want to have a good time and I don't want to live in the fact that I miss you. I want to have this experience. You declared it. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. The mindset, when we set our intentions to see the joy and the happiness and the good in things, and that's what we're looking for. I think I touched on it a couple shows ago where I said, if you're walking into the room, scanning the room for danger, then what you're going to see is danger. If you're approaching life as, show me how good it can get. Keep showing me how good it can get. Looking for the good in life. It's there. And when you have that mindset and set the intention to see it, all of a sudden, it's all you start to see. And again, we don't lose awareness that there are hard things going on, that there are challenges going on, that there's a lot of ugly truth that's coming to the surface. We don't lose, that reality. We have that. But it's understanding that the more happiness, higher vibrational energy that we can bring to this world when creating the new, that's what we created. We don't create in the crumbling. We create in the new. So being able to take responsibility for your own happiness, setting the mindset, having the mindset and setting the intention that I want to see the good. I want to see the positive. I want to build on experiences like Janice. I want to build on experiences that bring me joy. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. And that emotional independence, it's so wild that you went through this experience, because that emotional independence, you not having Mike there to help you with all of the physical things, challenged you emotionally as well. And look at how you handled it. You knew that you were responsible for your state of mind. You wanted to have a good time. So though there were physical challenges, you didn't allow that to totally consume your emotional state either. Emotional independence. You knew your grandson was sick and not feeling well. You didn't take on his feelings because, him saying it was a horrible weekend. You didn't take that on. You didn't carry that. That was beautiful. And it's not that you weren't sympathetic or empathetic to him not feeling well. It's you didn't put it on and you didn't carry your 6-foot whatever grandson around on your shoulders. And that's beautiful. An absolutely wonderful thing.
Yeah. So celebrate. That was my celebration of retirement. And now I celebrate my ability to celebrate.
Yes. Party everywhere.
Yeah. Yep.
My aunt lives in New Orleans, and I always like to say, whenever I hear the word party, I hear her in my head. She'll say, "Oh, honey, a party ain't a party till the po-po come."
Oh.
So keep partying hard, Janice.
Oh.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. And one side effect of this is I don't travel with my husband. I don't. He doesn't like people. He doesn't want to travel. He just wants to stay home. So that's how we've kind of had it. One thing he's willing to do is we have a RV. I think it's the word trailer, camper. And the kind of our compromises, we can travel with the camper. Then he has his home and, and then we can go places. And then he can do his sports, his outdoor sporting things, we haven't done it yet, but that was the idea. And when I came home and I was he says, I'm jealous. He says, I'd like to go. I think I'd like to do that. I'm like, whoa. And I'm like, I think I could stand it. I think I could stand him too, because I found we know each other and we don't have to go to the, like I was in a lot of pain walking that far. And, Mike would have understood and we would, but Cole's like, no, let's keep going around. Let's walk. I'm like, Cole, no, I'm in pain right now. It's just, he knows me, we're partners and there wouldn't be any problems. I mean, he still challenges me to do things, but we know each other. And I think the things that were hard, which, of course it was physically hard. We could complement each other and along with doing history, he loves history, and we could find things we can do together. So I think we might go on this trip, just my husband and I one day.
Yay!
That's a lot. I do not travel with my husband. That stopped a long time ago.
That is huge.
Yeah.
That is huge. That would be great. Yeah. Would you do the houseboat again?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I wish it was warmer because, they had decks on the front and the back, even had deck on the roof.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And it would have been cool to sit around and actually enjoy the water because I love water. But it was cold. I mean, I went outside and sat the first day and this is cold.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, my grandson, his idea of fun. You see, yeah, I realize how old and stuck in my ways I am when you spend a long weekend with a teenage boy. He goes out in the little pier next to the boat. He'd put one foot on the pier and one foot on the boat. He'd just rock the boat. He would love to just make me rock. And
don't rock the boat.
Yeah, that's right. But yeah, I thought that. But, I was like, what? This is fun for a kid. Yeah. Okay, I'm not getting sick. I said, I'm getting a little seasick here. Yeah, that's all.
Right.
But it challenged me quite often to get out of my old stuck in my place.
Yeah.
Spot.
We were talking in the pre-show about, last week we were talking about resetting the autopilot. That's what happens when you are able to shift an old pattern. And that, your weekend validated that you have shifted your autopilot, because when the challenge hit, you started questioning yourself. And
yeah,
that's
he wanted to go on the roof.
Okay.
And he walked back around in it. And I'm like, no, the roof's going to fall. The roof's going to fall. The roof's going to fall. I was like panicking and no. Okay. Okay. He'll get down soon.
Yeah, beautiful. You took personal responsibility every time there was a challenge. You checked
Mm,
in and conversed with yourself. Beautiful. Your autopilot has shifted. Excellent.
okay.
Excellent. Excellent.
I feel
I
uncomfortable.
enjoy this next.
I feel uncomfortable. We
Huh?
talked a lot about me, so go ahead.
Well, it was such a big weekend.
It
That
was.
was huge. It was huge. The next meme we have, I just thought was great because it's plain and simple. Question: Are you happy? If the answer is yes, you keep doing whatever it is you're doing. If the answer is no, the next question is: Do you want to be happy? If the answer is no, then you keep doing what you're doing. If the answer is yes, then it's changed something. And it doesn't have to be a huge, monumental change. The smaller the change, the less it challenges your subconscious. Just make a small change. One of the biggest things that I have done, a small thing that I do every morning now, Bob, I'm working with Bob, and he's the one that recommended it. It was recommended to him. Before I even open my eyes in the morning, I say thank you. Thank you for another day. Thank you for giving me another opportunity to live my purpose and shine.
Oof.
And that, it really changes the approach, because I was one that as soon as I was conscious, I'd start thinking about what I have to do for the day. So it's, even though my body wasn't getting, my feet weren't hitting the floor running, my mind was. So this really puts me just in a place of gratitude. Like, yeah, thank you for another day. Thank you for giving me another opportunity. And oddly enough, Janice, I've started to read every morning for pleasure versus sitting on my phone. Now, I had done better about not scrolling. I wouldn't start picking up my phone and scrolling until 9 o'clock when Jen started working. But instead of that, I'm reading. And it's fun. It's just fun. So I get
Wow.
to start my day nice and slow. I'm very fortunate. I've created this nice little world for myself where I can wake up with the sun or not have an alarm. My body wakes up when it's ready to wake up. I drink my coffee nice and slow. I start my day at 10 o'clock. Well, I worked school schedule for my, not only my school years, but 24 years of a career. I was run by clocks and bells, changing class and blah, blah. So this has really been something that I've had to learn and embrace. And the whole celebration show had me thinking, yes, look at what I've created for myself. And it's a beautiful thing, but it all starts with just a little change. So pick something in your life. I don't know how many clients where they come in for the first time and I'll look at them and say, what brings you joy? What do you do in your life that supports your happiness? And their answer is, I don't even know. It's been so long, I don't even know anymore. So put some thought into that. If you're struggling out there, put some thought into, when's the last time I felt happy? When's the last time I experienced joy? And then ask yourself, how can I get more of that? And one of the big things, being the recovering people pleaser that we talk about, is, taking a little inventory of, because you're always doing for others, being the people pleaser. It's, am I doing this out of love? Or am I doing this out of obligation? And when you can start to shed some of the things that you're doing out of obligation, it opens your heart to do more things from a place of love. Because obligation builds resentment. And resentment creates separation. And when we feel separate and isolated, it's very difficult to find joy and happiness. Because the human experience is meant to be lived with others. We're not meant to do this alone. So having those connections are key. So if you have had some relationships that you would like to put more energy into, find space in your day, find space in your week. If they come to mind, reach out to them. If you want to tell them you love them and they're important in your life, do it. Don't be afraid. If you think somebody's wearing this outfit and they look banging, tell them. Don't sit on the words. Share your joy. Share that, because, again, not our responsibility to make other people happy, not their responsibility to make us happy. But a simple smile brings more light to the world. And you have no idea the impact that can have on a person when you smile at them. Little things. They don't have to be huge. Start small. But understand that you're feeding your happiness. Does this feed my pain, or does it feed my happiness? And make choices. One of the biggest things I forgot and became numb to is the fact that I had a choice. I convinced myself for the longest time that I had to stay in teaching, because what else am I going to do? I didn't have a choice. Bullshit. I had a choice. It didn't mean things were going to be easy, making the choice to leave teaching, but it was a choice. And just the idea of knowing that there are options can help lighten the energy being fed into whatever the experience is. Okay. Janice, like you say, enough of that. All right. Let's move on to the next slide. At some point, you have to realize the key to happiness isn't doing things to seek the approval of others, but doing things for yourself. And Janice, again, I know you said enough about you, but this your past weekend, the conversation you had with your husband before leaving, you checking in with yourself, the key fob, you looked into you and you're like, no, that's old. I can give him the key fob. Just you were like experience after one, after another was just validating. You made these choices for you. You gave him that key fob because you didn't want to be that old controlling set in your way. It has to be like this person. It's absolutely beautiful. Shift in perspective. Release your expectations. You know what we feel here. Expectations are the cock block of the universe. One of the biggest things I struggled with is I expected people to respond to things the way I would. Well, they're not me. They haven't had my experiences. So why would they respond the same way I would? And cultivate your inner awareness. Exactly what Janice did. Yeah. When you question, you learn more about yourself. You learn more about your pattern. And then you can make the choice as to whether or not you want to shift that pattern.
And here we are, hosting another show.
Here we are. So, happiness is an inside job. It's an inside job. It's not up to anybody else, because when we give those keys to someone else, then they have control over us. Where I call that outsourcing. You don't want to outsource your happiness. Now, working with Janice is a very happy experience for me. It's very joyful. But do I count on Janice to make me happy? No. I experience happiness working with her, but it does not hold the key to my happiness.
It's a great experience,
Mm-hmm.
And that's what it is.
It's very freeing. Yeah. When you take responsibility and you have that emotional independence, then it's freeing, because the people that are in your life are there by choice, not by need. And I know you have been very open about abandonment issues. It really shifts that whole thing. It shifts how you see it, because I don't need you in my life. I want you in my life.
Yeah.
So that fear of people leaving starts to dissipate. So yeah. All right, Janice, I believe that's a wrap.
Yes, it is.
Yes. So thank you for sharing so much about your experience. And we want to thank everybody for joining us today and choosing to be here now with us. Please always remember,
you are not alone.
And don't ever forget, you're awesome. We'll see you next time.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
Be well.